everyone. We're on our Memory Jogger movie excursion.
Yeah,
part one.
Part one. This will be a multi-part, probably at least two-part. So what we're going to do now is what we've talked about in the past. Enjoy the ride. Jason will be handing the phone back and forth, so forgive our videography. We failed that course, but wait a minute, we didn't have a course, so
I actually took TV1, so
okay,
but that wasn't.
You're more skilled than I.
Yeah, it was a very basic course.
Well, I can't say too much. When I was at DMA, I got to work the robotic cameras, so that was actually fun. Push a button and it does whatever you do. So I really didn't do much. I just remote control,
like a drone camera.
Yeah, those are fun.
All right, we gotta quickly show this Denny's Beer Barrel Pub. It is home of the largest hamburger.
It was.
Well, at one point.
At one point.
In the world.
So, do your Googles, but quick synopsis. They made, I think it was a 123-pound burger. They had to have, they had to have a custom broiler built so they could cook it. And they went from like an 83-pound burger and jumped it up because a guy in Michigan was competing. So the guy in Michigan did another one up. And they're like, well, we don't have a place to keep putting all this stuff. So in essence, they gave up and said, we'll be the world's biggest burger contests.
There we go.
So that's where they've left it off. But it's still a pretty good burger. That's the Clearfield Mall.
Yep, there's the mall over there. That's where we spent many a time. I'm sure we'll get over there at some point and maybe film a little bit inside, but we had an arcade there. That's where the Ames department store was. They used to have, up until I think just last year,
a JCPenney. Yeah, it's obviously rural town, not much going on. Coal companies have dried up because of EPA standards.
Yeah.
So it's a sad thing, rural town, there's not much left to keep things open. So
and right down here was where our mutual friend that we talk about a lot, Leaf, where he lived.
His house
was down in those woods down there.
Right amongst those trees
crazy.
Right there.
A little house trailer, but we're coming up to our school here.
Should be able to see it in the camera.
And our church. This is where we first met, actually, right?
Well, first that we knew that we met.
Yeah, well,
we met supposedly in that Calvary Independent whatever chapel.
Okay.
But we didn't really know that we met. This is the official meeting. So this is, get Jason to pan around. This is our school. This is how we used to park. So I don't know if you can really see outside the dash. Let me back up a little bit so you can get the curb.
So this is like a little hill right in front of the lower road, whereas you go in where the buses park and come up around the side by the gym.
So the episode that reason I did this, the episode where Memory Jogger, where we're talking about taking driving classes, driving lessons, and our teacher, Mr. States, during the winter had asked me to go get his truck. This is how I was, and I know I was a lot closer to the end. So I'm trying to put his old clunker 80 Dodge into reverse, and I keep inching and inching and inching over this cliff. Is it ever going to go in gear? And when I said I'm going to hit the gym eventually, right there's the gym.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to, since we've left, they've changed this lot around. One, they've paved it. This used to be all gravel. And now I'm going to sit this.
I would love to break in and
well, it says they have warning cameras, so we can't break in. About the end of that white pillar, if you can see it, right by the electrical box there, to about that lower roof, just before it hits the gym, that was the original building.
Yep, that was the original school.
So when we're talking about the entryway, whenever, that foyer was not here.
That's right. And
this side was just nothing but a big, huge yard. And that's where we originally had a flagpole, so it was hard to describe. And one, we also didn't know, we didn't have our screen share knowledge.
Right.
So I couldn't do it. So here, we'll see what we can see. Oh, they actually installed a breezeway now.
They did. There's a big pumpkin.
Yeah.
So they added this last half of the building on when we were in 8th grade, I think.
Yeah.
So our 8th grade classes were over at the church, and we would walk back and forth each day to the cafeteria for lunch. And then we had this huge parking lot over there where the church is where you did your donuts there and got caught by Mrs. Baum.
Right, and that shrubbery over there, if you can see it, that's where I almost
went over the edge.
Here's a little curve, right? That's what I touched. But you're in this little car, and and I'm still novice learning, and I'm going full. I'm gonna tip. Oh, I didn't. So
this wasn't paved, was it?
No, this was all gravel.
This was gravel, yeah.
This was all gravel.
But the church parking lot was paved.
Yeah, so yeah, it was paved. This was gravel. I got yelled at that too because I'd spin my tires quite a bit.
Let's walk over here a second, and I'll pass the camera to you because I spent many a day
over in that field.
We did too.
Gym class, we did that.
We did gym class up here. They didn't have that playground there, but the field was where we played soccer. Played soccer, I think, 2 years, and also flag football. We did flag football out there, and then we'd come out and play
softball
for gym class, and the basketball court was there. So,
which is still there, and that's probably the original.
Yeah, I think it is. That's where we played that flicker ball.
Yep.
Remember?
Well, you did, not me.
You don't remember that? That's right. The trailers weren't here.
One was this one right here, the one in the middle. That was the, I don't know if you call it special ed or reading or something was there.
That's right. Yeah, it did.
They added this one right here. We don't know what. I mean,
and then there's that small little.
There's this little shed up here now. But behind all this, and even before that, this was a relatively new, like the last senior year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Had this building here, and it was more of a trail. It wasn't even. We didn't have ramps set up. It was literally just a couple steps thrown in front. But back behind that was our original playground. So we had the swings.
Right.
About where those 3 windows are. There was a slide. I don't know if you can really see the power connection there.
Yeah.
But there was a slide there.
Monkey bars and
the merry-go-round. If you can come back here, Jason, that little house that we talk about, the parsonage that we talk about, that was their house up there.
Some of the teachers lived there at one point, and then the youth pastor they brought in at one point lived there, and the church owned it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still own it now or
who knows
if it's something else, but yeah. But
when Jason was talking about before this expansion, the gym, that's where we would have our field days. This was another
it was a
yard right here.
That's where we did our field day. Yeah, I can't remember when the gym came on. Was it the same time as when they made the expansion? Okay. So yeah, that was my basketball career in that gym, and we played hockey too during gym class and stuff in there.
Oh yeah, but mostly in there. I'm sure we did it
in the cafeteria was our gym class for a long time. We would flip tables down on their side and make like a hockey rink, and that's where we played crab soccer too and all that. That was fun.
So you can kind of sort of see this little window right there amongst the generators, the air conditioner unit. That was the utility room that Jason fondly remembered.
Oh yes, that was.
The next room, as we go down the hall, that next room is Miss Livergood's. That's the 4th grade where we met.
Yep, that's where we met, in that room. Yep.
Down here in a big huge hallway, this was all I'd say probably about from where that downspout is on to the end of the roof there. That's all the lunchroom.
Right.
And our gym class. And
that was the lunchroom door there.
They had one little sectioned off about where that door is. That was the kindergarten. They had the little separation panel, whatever they are. And then on the other side of the building, I don't know if we're going to walk around.
Probably not.
The rest of our classes. And then when we transitioned over back from the church, we had, this end would have been, I think, 1st and 2nd.
The younger kids. Well, the younger kids were down on this side of the building, and then on the other side was the high school side.
With the little lockers, which was a first for us.
Yeah, I can still remember my combination.
I don't.
26, 40, 34 was my combination.
I have great numbers.
The crazy crap that's still in my head. I don't know, but.
So, we're transitioning over. This was all, I don't think there was any grass here. I think this is all gravel. This and all this.
Yeah.
So this is new to us. That there's like this paved, thorough,
Cut through.
cut through, yeah, to go through.
We played many a day in the
kickball
on this parking lot, and it's sloped, so it was fun when you were the pitcher because you just pretty much
just let it roll for a bunt or whatever.
Right.
So on this end was the little chapel of this church. When we would take,
Right.
we both went to church here for a little bit at least. I think you stayed longer than I did.
I did.
But we talked about Mr. Fligger and his little keys and goldfish gag and whatever else. That was the little chapel area that we would go in.
Yeah, and we would go in that door
right there
after lunch and run down the hallway to the classrooms before the teachers got there. And
you can kind of see the angle, but what you can't see on the inside is it goes angles and angles and angles. It kind of just does this angled U. U. And this was the main entrance to the church.
Yeah, I remember when the high school was over here. Chappie parked his truck over here
on this
these
side.
spots on this side, and all the high school kids parked over here. But yeah, that was our any kind of performance or concert, whatever, was in the church sanctuary. We didn't have anything over in the
so what you can't see on this side of the church, this was all the offices. So the pastor's office is here. I think the youth pastor was the next one over, and then it was a nursery and something else. Our classrooms were old Sunday school rooms that were on the interior side.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get a good angle, but those windows right there specifically, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I see.
Those windows there were where
your window went down like that.
Went Mr. States.
Yeah.
That's where we played many, many, many rounds of paper football.
Yeah. In the
spitwad shooter, Tom.
Oh yeah.
We will never forget your freaking Glock 44 of PVC.
This sign right here that's still standing. We took one of our senior pictures there, and a couple of us were up on top of the sign, sitting, and some people were standing below it. And I felt like that thing was going to topple over then. I'm not sure how it's still standing, but it is.
We used to, Jason Capan, this is added bonus feature. This used to be a bank over here to the right. And often they'd ask me, because I was the one that seemed to be farsighted, peering through the narrow windows that were over in the classroom, they'd ask, hey, how cold is it, or what's the time, even though we had a clock. I'd look over here and go, oh, it's 51, well, right now it's 41 degrees. So I'd say 41 degrees. And everybody, including Jason, would say, how do you see that? I don't know. And then one day, you can't see it because the fog's in, I swear, like 5 hills over, I see this little toothpick of an image. And I see the diesel exhaust going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled my cousin, Bernie, mostly because he's into the coal strippings. And I said, dude, you see the drag line running over there? I don't see it. I see it over there. Don't you see it? No, what do you see? I see the drag line and the diesel, exhaust going. So, yeah, it was fascinating. We talk a little bit about, like, little things around the...
Let me get my seatbelt back on.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
We're still amateurs. Jason can pan to the right. That's where our Kmart, which is now a Rural King, used to sit. In fact, the original Kmart is where Big Lots is.
Yeah, the original Kmart was on this end, and then they built a super Kmart down on the far end.
I remember them installing the air conditioner. They had the Riptide helicopter come in, and I don't know what was being taught that day, but I obviously did not pay attention because I was just in awe that there was a Riptide helicopter outside the window dropping the...
I remember that Kmart had a Little Caesars.
Yep.
And that was when the Bigfoot pizza was popular. The square, the rectangular one.
All of them were doing a Bigfoot.
And they also had those icy, the polar cap or the polar icy drinks you could get up there. Yep. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Yeah, there's the sign. I can't believe that sign is still standing.
Let me get out so you can see better. It's still the same, the Alliance.
I swear I thought I was going to knock a brick off when I got up on it, but anyway.
Maybe we can get a better shot of the school.
Yeah, there's the school up there on the hill.
One of the...
we would play games out front, too, on Side Hill. We would play Capture the Flag and... trying to think what else we played out there.
I don't remember much of what we did out front.
Yeah,
the flag,
we did some out front.
That was it.
All right, where are we going to?
Votech.
Okay, let's go to Votech. Yeah, we can go down the... we'll see where the little bump used to be, too.
Yeah. We won't go up to the Votech, but we'll kind of do the route. Because Jason, driving, he takes the driver test. Well, the loop was you go...
We can go up to Votech, take
Okay,
a quick
we can
spin
do that.
around.
So the driving test was you would go up this entrance right here, go around the bottom of the plaza driveway,
Where Kmart was.
and then come right back out
Ram
the bank. So
Yeah, we were just at RetroCon, so that's why Ram Man is in
the picture.
if you see Ram Man randomly.
Well, last year it was Murdoch. He had one-armed bandit Murdoch.
Yeah. So you came to Votech, was it every day or was it a few times a week?
No, every day, 11th and 12th grade. Morning was 11 o'clock. Or, I'm sorry. 11th grade was the morning.
The hill is kind of still there.
They've redone it, but we'll get to it. We'll try to simulate, which will be pathetic from what it used to be. No trespassing, 10 p.m. to... Well, we're safe then. It's after 6. So we went up to here. Oh, look, they got a Bigfoot. There's one Bigfoot spotting like 5 years ago. Now that's like...
Oh, yeah, they've got that huge wooden Sasquatch carved out of wood on the river down there.
So this is our Votech. Like I said, I started here 11th grade, doing the morning. Yeah, the morning thing. Well, that's added. They have parking up here. They didn't have parking, and they have the truck school now.
Yeah.
So I go in the door, straight up. You can kind of see the lift up here. There was a little ongoing ramp that went up, and then it was the first door. Once you hit the top, was the first door on the left. It was electronic technology, and that's what I did. I went up there from whatever 8 probably till 11:30, whatever that was.
Yeah, they'd have this cone set up. Well, there's some cones right there. I bet you that's what they still
Yeah, that's
use.
probably what they were for. And then we would do 12th grade was from like, we'll call it 12 till 3. So that's why I missed a lot of gym stuff. It was because that was gym time, was usually the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's still here. It's been...
I think the only time I was in there was to take my driver's test. It's because I didn't do Votech.
I did this, and then 12th grade, the senior year, we were allowed to bring in our own custom whatever. Every weekend, every Friday, every Friday I got to bring in my car radio. Every Friday, I made an excuse to go out in my car so I could tweak the stereo somehow. And that's where I added, haven't said about this on our podcast, but I would add the, remember the outdoor speaker I installed on my Turismo?
Oh, yes.
So, here's my logic. I thought, I'm washing my car. I can't hear the radio because it's muffled. So I'm going to add this little speaker out in the hood so I can have the highs, and I had the bass cannon, so I had the low and the hatch. So that was my concept. I'm like, I can do this. It's only for 10 minutes anyway or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little switch that sat like on the right-hand side, and you just switch it one way, have the interior speakers, switch it the other way, the speakers inside would turn off and get funneled to one little cone speaker. It was the musical speaker. Remember the musical thing I had that you played, the Jaws
yes.
program?
Yes.
Doot.
I remember that. All right, here we go. We're going to go try the hill.
See if we can get arrested now as we're doing this.
Yeah, get some.
As the cops, Lawrence Township comes by. So I'm not going to say because I don't want to get... This is the
That
bump.
was 35 we just passed. Here comes the bump. Oh, that's weak.
Yeah.
That's weak.
It was a sudden drop, and at that speed, we both would have had our stomachs up to
It
our
was
throats.
like at least 45 degrees.
Yeah, it was a serious thump.
All right, so we're gonna go to Beefs. Is that what we want to do?
Yeah, I think we'll do that.
All right, we're gonna head to Beefs where we used to hang out, play video games,
Try to find the pixie stick incident location.
eat barbecue sandwiches.
Well, barbecue sandwiches for
Play
me.
pool.
You had the chili dog
That's right.
most of the time. I think you had the barbecue once, but you still stuck with your chili dog.
Yeah, I love chili dogs. Call me Sonic. So we are here. Holy crap, I don't remember it being this small. They got an old
Dodge in there.
Dodge. This was Beefs. There was the there it is, look.
Downriver Delight and Game Room.
What now, how did we come up with Beefs? Was that what it was called before, or that was the
That was
owner's-
the guy. That was his nickname. He was Beefs, and like I said, his stature kind of fit the description. He was kind of a portly guy, friendly dude, very awesome. But his deal was, you eat your mistakes. So I'm just judging off of that rule that he made a lot of mistakes.
All right, let's get out and hopefully we won't get busted for trespassing. Yep, so the counter and the restaurant part was over here. On this side, you can see the little window that people would drive up and place their order. Car down over here, let's walk over here, was mini golf. He had a mini golf.
Right, there's a little shed for it, I think, behind that tree.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Hope we're not going to get in trouble, but we just want here to talk quietly. Yep, back in there was the mini golf shed, and all that brush is where the mini golf was. And then there was an entrance over here too, wasn't there?
It was.
They had the seating and stuff.
Yeah.
On this end, and then on the other end was
The pool room.
the game room.
Game room. You can look in there. You can see like they still have a Pepsi dispenser. It's like a soda dispenser, the old school soda dispenser, ice cream dispenser.
So yeah, then there was the pool table on the left, and you had the jukebox that played records on the left.
Wall.
You had a couple pinball tables.
Balls. There was that helicopter Tiger Heli, I think you said it was. Another pinball or something back there. Then on the opposite side of the wall was your heavy barrel. Then there was the bowling game.
Capcom bowling.
One or two more games. And that was it. It was like 8 or 9 games,
Yeah,
and that was it.
The ones we usually played we did play a couple games of pole position. I was trying to beat heavy barrel, and then we'd play bowling and shoot some pool.
Capcom bowling, yeah. We'd play the pinballs here and there, but our favorites were the arcade games and the pool table.
Yeah. Wow. I literally have not been here for...
Well, since high school, so
Yeah.
94. I think we did one Trek 95.
almost 25 years. No. Yes.
Yeah. He had a garage down underneath this place. That was where the lawn tractor sat. I remember watching his daughter go out and mow the lawn. Man.
Well, this was Beefs, man. This was our hangout for
Was. You could see
2
it
or
was.
3 years.
About 3 years, whatever it was. I think we came up here after we graduated, obviously, but between when neither one of us was working at the station.
But once we got cars and...
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, when did you get your first car? Was it junior year? Or senior year?
Junior year, so right at
Yeah.
16, I got it. I'm going to be inquisitive. Forgive me if we get arrested. Part of the nostalgia.
I don't want to get my feet wet. What do you see? The game's still in there?
Nope. Nothing but tables and chairs. Almost looks like this became their storage place for, actually that might be the table and chairs from over there.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, let's get back in the van.
going to retrace our steps down to where Jason made his pixie stick experiment.
Oh yeah, dumping pixie stick in the Mountain Dew. All right, so we're coming up to the famous spot that I said, I wonder what this would do if I put pixie sticks in my Mountain Dew.
And like I said, before I could even say don't do it, he had already done it.
And then it just started like exploding, and I had to. I think I put it outside the window, right?
But
and
some of it had already split on probably you and the.
Yeah, and you. This was still when you were at Beard Oil, so I think we went over there and hosed off your car.
I just got a bunch of like washer fluid. I think is what I used. Yeah, it's this house right here. We just literally passed it right here, and this is where it happened.
Yeah. So I was also telling him too, as a kid, I was a litter bug. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but we would get something from Beefs, and as much as I enjoyed messing his car, I would usually throw my trash out the window, so it would be like, whoops, and I would, toss it out the window.
It'd be the straw paper,
yeah.
Wrapper. Whoops.
So of course,
it was never anything big. It wasn't like he was throwing like the cup out. It'd be something very subtle.
I think I did throw a couple cups out.
It must have been on your car then.
But yeah, my penance now for doing stunts like that is I get all kinds of trash in my yard from the bus stop and just random drunkards that live in my neighborhood. But we're also coming up to the point where we ran over the deer.
Yes. So we haven't told this tale. Maybe we should have an accident.
I was thinking we did. Well,
I didn't list all my
dude, if we did an accident memory jogger, that'd be like 3 hours, and it'd all be you talking.
So let's set this. I'll set this up.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're coming up, and it's raining, right? Very low visibility, and I'm cranking.
It's foggy too.
There's fog.
Yeah.
And I'm cranking at 60 when I shouldn't be.
It was this hill right here, wasn't
it? This hill, yes. So I'll kind of slow up. So I'm cranking about 55, 60 mile an hour. Dad 79 Plymouth Horizon, the jitney that we affectionately call it. We're coming up here. I'm going to go a little backwards here. This is where we ultimately stopped. In the end, we had to park it here and just call it good and start walking up this side road.
Right.
To go to our
principal's
house. So we're up about probably where this little marker reflector is. And I'm trying to make a decision. Dead deer in the road. What do? See lights. Is there a cop car or something coming up the road? I was already in the left-hand lane. I swerved over.
Ran over a dead deer.
Ran over a dead deer.
And it knocked the clutch. You were stuck in like fourth gear?
I was stuck in fourth gear. I made the mistake. It turned around here at this Congress Hill road here. If I would have stayed in fourth gear, I could have gotten a lot closer to Clearfield at least.
Yeah.
There.
But we ended up going back around.
Go and try to do a running start again with the fourth gear, and it didn't work.
Didn't work. So we ended up leaving the car down there, and we walked about, what did you say, about a mile, you think?
Well, it might have been longer if we would have.
Well, we're going like back roads, but he remembered where our principal lived. So we walked in kind of the misty rain to his house, and he gave us a lift, I think.
Yeah, he ended up giving us a lift, obviously. I mean, Jason's on these back roads with, were you wearing like slippery shoes or something like that?
I had an old pair of sneakers that there was like no traction on the bottom, so I was literally like skiing down some of the streets on the pavement.
So then there's a road you can kind of see here. We came out this road, this Laconis Mills road, walked along the highway. It might have been 2 miles we walked, now that I think about it. And then we came up to this turn right here, Bald Hill, made a right, and it's one of these barn-topped houses.
Yeah, second or third one up, I think it was, yeah.
So the reason I knew where he lived is because a girl I was dating back in like 10th grade, not that I really date, but childhood girlfriend, boyfriend, she lived there. Sold the house to Mr. States. So that's how I knew he lived there.
Oh, okay.
And then here we are beating on the door. He's, of course, if I remember right, he was on the floor, like grading papers, and he had his old computer sitting up, which I say old computer, I'm talking 80s, well,
Yeah.
this is 90s, so he might have had an Apple of some sort. Apple like 2. And he's grading papers. I'm knocking on the door.
I think it was like a Friday night maybe, or Saturday night. It was on the weekend.
It was a night. I think it was Friday night because Dad came up Saturday to pick us up. We spent the night at my mom's, which happened to live back here, and that's how we got dropped off.
That's right. Yep.
Spent the night. Dad came out early morning, picked us up, towed the car. Oh, we got it running. He was able to put it back together. I'm interrupting. The parts for my Turismo came from this junkyard right here. It might still be here. I don't know.
Punch bug.
Yeah. So, back to the other conversation. So we basically just put the the gear shift linkage back on the car, drove it home, and then he right away said, "You're cleaning this car for me," which
I'm cleaning fur and all kinds of stuff all over the bottom of it.
Jason's gonna run out of space on his phone, but essentially, when we got it home, my dad had to work on it. He goes, "What part of the deer did you not hit?" You got intestines wrapped around the axle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all, basically everything of the deer I hit. And he gets everything put together, and I said, "What damage did I do?" And I'm worried like I've cracked the oil pan or something like that. Like, you really didn't do any damage. You separated the exhaust pipe, but it never really broke. And that's why we had like the super powered lawnmower sound going. And then the linkage just literally, the clip fell out and came off the transmission linkage.
It was here, wasn't it, where we went back and I was throwing rocks at that? Yeah, it was right there.
Nope.
Wasn't it?
Nope. That's an added bonus to this video. We're going to do recreate our throwing rocks at a pond and then got in trouble the last time we did it.
Oh, so you know where it is. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, we were such bad you-know-whats that...
Well, we did it, I don't know, for like a year.
I don't even know how we ended up down in there.
Oh, I knew where it was.
Yeah, but what were we doing down there in the first place?
Skipping rocks.
Skip that. Okay, that's right. So we go down there to skip rocks in the water, and the piece de resistance of the night was always me finding the largest rock that I could pick up and throw and nail this metal sign.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the sign says. Probably like no trespass. And then we would haul butt out of there. Okay, so we made it down to where we think the spot was where we were skipping rocks. It's all overgrown now. The stream is down there, but it's hard to kind of find. But we would park up here.
Somewhere right in this area.
Start skipping rocks. There was a sign somewhere, and then down back behind us
right here
was a house, and that's
right
where the
here.
guy...
Here's where we can park. This has grown up a little bit more, but this was essentially the spot. And there's two ponds on either side. It might be on one now.
We would walk down in there and then skip rock. I don't know where the freaking sign was.
We were come out here, throw rocks, and I'm trying to find our location, the metal sign. But this was more grown up. You can see this must have been a pathway. It might still be a deer pathway of some sort. But there were two ponds on either side, and they were just stagnant water, no flow, nothing. But there was a sign somewhere, I want to say it was on the other side, so that's why it was a challenge for Jason. But we just skipped rocks and whatever, and like Jason said, he had to find the big rock to make the big kaboosh. But that's what we did for, I don't know, kicks for about the last 5 to 10 minutes of our podcast, or our night. And then, like I said, our last episode, if I remember right, the reason why we stopped was because a guy came out barking at us. Hey, that says no trespassing. Well, who cares? I mean, we're kids. We're just skipping rocks. Well, it says no trespassing. They're experimental. Are you experimenting? I don't know what was something along that line. It was like for EPA. I don't know. He gave us a line. Of course, we returned a line. Probably not the nicest at the time as teenagers.
Yeah, and I probably grabbed one more rock to hit the sign as we were peeling out.
Yeah.
You know, just to piss them off even more. But
But like I said, we just come down here for the last. It wasn't every night or every time, but it was kind of our salutation for maybe a month, and just come down here, skip rocks. He'd hit the sign, and then when we're like, "Hey, you feel like heading home?" Yeah. Wait, we got to find the big rock. And kaboosh. So, yeah, that was our thing. This is what country guy bumpkins do.
Yeah.
In rural Pennsylvania.
this is the equivalent to like tipping cows or something.
I guess. At least we don't have, was it Bob Farley? Is that his name?
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. You know, you got to do it right here. Oh.
All right, we're in Wyatt's old neck of the woods now. Kind of where my dad lives, but...
So, like every place else, every burg or city has like a little, I'll call it a suburb name. Mine was East End of town. Jason's dad lives up in what's called Hillsdale. We're just coming up to my childhood house. There on the right, the church there where I used to take, that's as far as I could go on my little bike and my orange pickup truck that I used to deal. I used to wheel around the backside of that church, turn around and come back. This little building was not there. It was just straight sidewalk.
Okay.
So we're coming up to my house on the left.
Yep, I see it.
And now a greenish house.
And the sun porch was there, I remember,
Yeah.
right? And that's where you kept your games and stuff out in the...
Yeah, there was a little sunroom, and that's where we kept it. There's the two-car garage, which used to have a patio with the green fiberglass roof. There used to be all types of pine trees out here in the front.
Turn up the alley if you want to. That's just... Yep, and your room was up here, right?
Yep, the very back room there was mine. This one down below is the kitchen.
Yeah, and this little back room right here, I remember you had your computer set up when we play games.
Computer, that was also the laundry room and the one sole toilet, and like, I guess you call it a half bath, quarter bath. My cousin and aunt lived right here. Well, not in the garage, obviously, but this is their garage. They lived in the house right in front.
I remember coming down here.
Oh,
I remember riding bikes.
I'm interjecting. This
Go
guy
ahead.
on the right,
Uh-huh.
he had fireworks every 4th of July, but he would do it a day before. And his gag was he'd run it for about an hour and a half, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to stop now before the cops get us.
Well, I remember riding bikes up to the cemetery, up the top of the hill,
Yep.
and kind of down and around, before we had cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember maybe going over the playground over there a couple times.
They've widened this. You can kind of see a sidewalk here. I have a picture of me as a kid right in front of this house on the left. Jason, you get a picture
Yeah, go ahead.
of me and my sister. I think maybe it's just me on my little yellow truck, orange truck there. And now we're heading up to where Jason had his little spooktacular moment of himself.
Gosh, and this is winter time, snow on the ground, it's icy, and you get up to the top of the hill here by the cemetery, and there's this real steep hill that we're going to go down.
Yep. It's fair weather, so we can go down this and not go
Right.
skating.
But I got to about here when it starts to go down, and I start sliding. And I'm sliding, and I literally came to a stop, like right here, before this
grade.
hill.
I don't know if you can really tell.
It's like a 45-degree angle at least, maybe even steeper than that. But I was very fortunate.
Level your phone against these houses if you can. I mean, I don't know if you can really truly grasp the grade, but this is a serious grade of a hill.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. You just didn't go anywhere near it in the winter.
Even those that were a little gutsy with snowboarding or snow sledding.
Yeah,
we didn't go down this hill because we figured we'd go right through to the river.
There's the Grice Museum.
Yeah.
I've been in there a couple times. There's a collection of cars in there, and the recreation of the Scoot Grice that owns it, his gas station he worked at as a kid. And that was the building that the snow caved in one winter and ruined a bunch of cars.
I never was in that place. Never yet to go in.
You're not missing too much. It's more of like a car show.
Yeah. I like myself some cool cars.
All right, we're coming down to where our radio station used to be.
And we're hoping that the parking lot that it is now is relatively empty so that we can recreate where everything was.
You come down here and you take a right.
You could go right in that little side one, but I'm trying
What
to
in
see.
the heck do they have? They have like scarecrows and stuff on the
I
poles.
think they must have a Halloween parade. That's my guess. So the
Here's the progress.
The progress. This was our entrance. We needed to turn.
Yeah, this is the newspaper, local newspaper.
Okay, well, everybody's parked where I want to be.
The building was literally where this parking lot is right now, across from this private parking sign.
Yeah.
So it was like right in here. There's some spaces over there.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best to kind of simulate this if we can, even with the cars here.
I don't even remember that building in front of it. I guess it was just because it was blocked.
It was up against it.
Yeah.
WCPA AM, WQYX
I'm gonna do my best.
Clearfield.
Watch the video of our first jobs. Cars were parked literally this way, so the cute cruiser that you see on my picture and Jason's picture sat like this, right up against the building. The building would have probably been where this crease is, this crack in the cement. And I'd say our doorway is probably about here. Walk into the lobby, you got the secretary, and down that hallway would have been...
Sales and...
No, sales was on this side. This side would have been our copywriter. The
Oh, yeah.
whatever block that I kept trying to figure out what the heck his
Yeah,
name was,
yeah.
was down at the end. The computer would have been probably about here that we talked about playing games on.
Yeah.
So and it was an L-shaped desk, and we had the little AM/FM radio right here, computer, little fax machine would have been about here, and of course it was
Yeah, just desks down there, and then the studio was over this way.
Walk a little bit this way, and you had your red door, and that was the first set of doors for the booth. Go in, down that hallway then would have been the men's restroom, I'm sorry, the girls' restroom, and then the kitchenette slash
Right.
janitor's room.
Prize closet.
Yeah, no,
Oh, the prize closet was on the end,
it was, you would have walked up here,
taking a left.
and here's the prize closet right here, opposite of the newsroom. Newsroom would have been, or I'm sorry, the production room booth would have been here. You walk in, and that's about the room. I was trying to figure out logistically how big this room would have been. It had to have been like an 8x8
Yeah, it was small.
closet. And you know, you're sitting at your production board for the production room. Those cart machines that's in the picture are right here. The typewriter's here. The rack with the cassette player that we used to record would have been here. The cabinet with the Canary Productions.
Yep.
would have been here.
All the sound beds.
Walk out, go down not even a few feet.
Now you're in the AM
Now you're
room.
in the AM booth. You got the rack right here that had the Optimod, the remote for the towers, and then you'd have your reel-to-reel, which was Paul Harvey, and
Yep.
patch panels. You walk kind of, it felt like you squeezed.
It is Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's Sunday morning. Church bells ringing. It's too bad we can't stay till 6 o'clock, so you get old Muley.
Oh yeah, holy crap! The cow siren.
So we fill this in right now. So Old Muley is a fire. We had a 6 o'clock fire whistles every Sunday, 6 o'clock. We'd have throughout the county, all the fire whistles go off for testing. Old Muley was like the emergency guy.
Yeah, I remember that. And then the FM was over here.
Well, AM booth, so you got the console right here.
Right.
And you'd have the two Rusco turntables right here. You had Digilink sitting right here in the window. You see the window with the computer basically blocking the view. You had the phone, and then you had your AM Pro console, which was tilted. Then you had your 3 cart machines, ITC cart machines. Little CD player that sat right on top of it. Then you had your paper clocks that we called our schedules, where you see the ESPN and Sun Radio networks that I put up there. You had your true physical clock on the right with the little timer and the temperature, speaker, microphone, spare microphone. Left was that what little bit of desk space you really had to write and whatever else, and then you had the little Lazy Susan turntable for the carts for the promos and whatever else. You walk around for the 1 minute. That 1 minute where you change the chip, you'd run through a set of doors, and then you'd run through the newsroom, which would have been here. That newsroom had just a row of racks, 3 of which stayed, which is what you saw, Jason.
Right.
You'd have one that was just nothing but storage shelves. And when I had my food,
you'd hang out in there.
Right. I have this little tiny pocket underneath the desk, and that's where I'd hide it for the night. And then I'd ask him to hide it for me under the shelf, the very bottom, behind some records or whatever was down there. Then we had the one reel to reel and then 2 reel to reels over here. One of which, that's why I got confused. I didn't remember that there's 3. I remember there was 1, which is what I used to do on the road with Jeff Brooks. Then we had the cart machine for Johnny Holiday. And then
you had
we had the old automation when I was there.
Right.
One was a 3 carousel cart machine that rotated as it needed to change the commercial.
That was
and it had another rack that had the physical drawers to change out the carts for the different DJs, like Jonathan Wolf. We keep saving him. He's the only one I remember.
Yeah.
Michael Taylor?
Could have been. Anyway,
so then you'd run into the hallway, little tiny short hallway.
QYX.
If you made a quick left, it would have been the QIX.
Yeah,
studio,
the FM room
studio.
was back there.
And then again, I'm not going to bother these cards, but you go in there, simulate it, and you'd see the true like 90-degree turn setup. AM was curved. FM was just flat panels, basically desktops. And then you'd have your window in dead front of you with your microphone, 2 speakers, clock, phone, little rack here with the reel for the telephone calls. Very bottom was a cart machine. There's one turntable on this side. Then you had 2 cart machines on the bottom, which
You remember a lot more crap than I do.
but this is all pictures, so I had that. And then you had the little tiny booth or little spot for the second person if they joined, and of course all the carts.
Yeah.
Then you run into our sat room is what we called it, but that's where all our paychecks and whatever else there. You had the little chip.
All right, you had
Like
this
I said, we changed out the satellite chip.
satellite panel.
Push through a door, push through a door, push through a door, run out of the console.
And you're back at the board. Yeah, that was
This
fun.
was this is where the building used to be. When the new owners took it, they bulldozed this.
Yeah,
It was
made for more parking. I think my stepmom actually parks over here during the day to go to her office, which is kind of ironic. But
there used to be a tower, like we said in the first job. There was a tower that sat right here. That was we'll call it our uplink. The main towers, which are about over here. But yeah,
that was it, man.
WCPA.
That was it. I miss it. So we're back in the car. Got a few more points here.
this church on the right is where I was first baptized when we were talking about school days or whatever. Over here is where our KFC used to be, which is now Silver Screen Video.
Which is still silver screen video, right?
Yes, it is still going. Should have brought my car and see if we could rent a video.
It looks like they're open in there.
Looks like they're open. At least the lights are on, and they have what looks like Batman and Superman movie.
Yeah, that's only about a year old. Wow. Yeah, that was our, what I sometimes call Kentucky Fried Video.
Yeah.
Because that was the KFC, and then it became the rental. I rented many a movie from Silver Screen in the early 90s.
Rented a few, not often, but a few. But yeah,
I was down here all the time. They had games too, video games. So
back when we rented NES, or you had Genesis, so you probably rented Genesis.
it was probably Genesis games that I rented there. All right, so we're heading over to the driving park, aka the Clearfield County Fairgrounds. since we did a episode on the fair.
It's only fair.
It's only fair that we show the fair. When did they put in the skate park? That was
shortly after we left.
It was after we graduated, yeah. But they, I guess, got sick of all the skateboarders, so they built them a nice little skate park over there. They can skate their hearts out. But this is the Clearfield County Fairgrounds.
This is where the bulk of the
Midway rides,
your rides and all that were at.
Games.
Over on the right, where Jason is, this is where they'd have the barbecue for all the animals.
Yep. All the animal barns are up here. But yeah, there's always like a huge chicken barbecue right here next to the poultry barn. Oh my gosh.
On the left, if Jason pans over, you have the Litz Grove little theater right here.
Yeah.
This would be the wildlife that it even says wildlife exhibit. They would panel this closed, and you'd have like a pseudo building, and they'd have deer, bear, snake, porcupine, whatever, in that little area. Then we have vendors all over the place. They had a mini golf a couple of years.
They had a mini golf there for a long time.
Then you got your horse barn,
horse, sheep, and swine. And then you turn the barn and the smelly cattle. It all smelled, but
yeah, it all smelled.
It's funny they have the lemonade stand was already right here, so we get our lemonade, freshly squeezed lemonade right here, and
they have a psychic about halfway through, palm reader or whatever she was.
Right.
On a few years, they'd have a little church gospel camper looking thing.
Mm-hmm. And then you got your little squirrel.
Yeah. Oh, and then about, say where this distant, maybe I'll call it the middle picnic table is. That's where they'd have the Carnes Brothers or maybe the other guy out of Du Bois, Ponce, somewhere like that. They bring their tractors, ATVs, and stuff for sale.
They ripped off the roof on that stage to make it taller. It looks like it had a roof, didn't it?
That is the roof right there. They just load it probably for the winter.
Interesting. I don't remember that being possible before. It was like a permanent roof. Then you got your expo buildings back here where they would have vendors and such.
Well, they'd have that. You'd have your
this is where they do the circus tent.
Yeah, we had the circus tent right in front of these trucks. And this is where Jason and I had our we got roped into it. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
To
dance.
Yeah, or whatever we did.
Man, that was pathetic.
But yeah, this is where they'd have your low contest if kids.
I don't remember those power poles being there.
No, that's new. I'm turning around.
I remember coming down here to the playground some.
Yeah. Oh, that where that truck is, they'd have little petting zoo off the
right. Yep. The petting zoo.
And then Jason was saying when they have concerts and stuff, big names, all this fence would be all black tarped up.
Yep, so you can't watch the concert. But there's the grandstand. I don't know if they still do the horse racing or not.
Still do.
They do horse racing, and then that's where you do your concert each night. You fill up the grandstand and the bleachers, and then the stage is what we were talking about there that is in the middle with the roof lowered.
About right here, when you get to about dead center, right about where these little patches are, this would be where the little car giveaway was.
Yeah, it was up a little farther there. It was kind of right at the edge of the grandstand. But yeah, they always do the car giveaway here. This is where we would hit some mud puddles right in here.
Right in here, right about where that one is there, which is just not even, it's just a damp spot. This is Expo 1. This is where all the vendors would be selling their products or services or whatever. And right inside this door, every year, except maybe one or two, was the guy that was carpet scrubbing.
The vacuum or...
No, it's just a little brush on something or other. But he'd sit out right there in the corner.
And then, the saltwater taffy was always here.
Right here. Right about in this patch right here. Bingo was like a little bit over here, I think. This right up against here would be all lined with other vendors, cotton candy.
Yeah, mainly food. Down here is where that Pepsi stand was, where I worked that one summer.
Yeah.
filling up drinks we talked about in the first jobs. There's a little bit more of the driving park, but it's got a track that goes all the way around it. That's where we watched like the Joey Chitwood stunt show, and there'd be a car that would ride on 2 wheels all the way around the track. Man, they got it grown up.
Yeah. Well, this over here is where that video game place was.
The arcade tent. Man, it was hot in there. Yeah, we would.
This is where my poster was. Remember?
Oh yeah, I was right by the fence going in. This is where that picture was. We'll get a still of that and maybe do side by side. That was, what year was that?
When was it? 2004.
Was it?
That was when the bicentennial hit for Clearfield.
Wow.
So this is where we would turn around, obviously, when we were racing with my little whatever car, with doing the puddle hopping, and then we just hit it again as fast as we could, find the next puddle, and just
all the way through.
Yep.
Made it the driving park.
So this is, I mean, obviously the fair isn't here. We are going to do part 2.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to do.
There's the towers up there.
Yeah.
The radio towers.
Stop it.
See if I can zoom in. Yep. There are 3 radio towers for WCPA, WQIX.
Yeah.
All right, so we're headed up Race Street. This is where my grandma lived. I spent many an afternoon after school. She would pick me up in her Plymouth Duster. That little brown Plymouth Duster.
And your uncle had the laser.
Yeah, he had that for quite a while. But it's this house right here. Wow. No, it's not that house.
It's not that house.
It's this house.
Yeah, the
like
tannish one.
That's the in a garage now. Yep, this was it. I'd play on that front porch right there. And out in the backyard. And then that garage down there was built a little bit later. Go ahead down the alley. I think a pastor owns it now.
Interesting.
Yeah. But there was an older garage about where that basketball cement pad is. And there's the backyard. There was a little tree over here I would hide behind, and Graham would sit on that back porch there, and we'd play hide and seek. My uncle had a garden. And there's actually 2 garages. There was a single car garage about where we are. This pad is, and then they had a 2-car garage. Those buildings were about like that one right there. That needs to be tore down. They tore them down and built this new garage right before my uncle sold it. So that's where I spent many a day after school. Yep, so we got the van down by the river.
On the left, it's more for us. This was the old, way back jailhouse. Way back before us.
Before we even,
But I remember taking a school field trip. That's one of the field trips I remember. Going through the old jailhouse. I don't remember details. I just remember walking through it.
I don't even remember that one. So you got the little park down here.
This is the Whitmer Park.
Yeah.
I never remember which one's the lower and which one's the upper. But we have Whitmer Park here to the right.
Past the library.
Yeah.
So down here, we'll briefly show you down as the light turns red.
Our mutual friend, it's not called the Good Samaritan Center. That's our mutual friend Leaf. That was his granddad's place.
Yeah, and that's where his dad's office was for the chiropractor. And there's the Ritz.
Showing Venom right now. Right beside it on the right, little tiny shop used to be the trading post. That's where
Trading post was like the place to be, man. We had like we bought video games in there. I could trade video games for $1, and if you had the book with your video game, the manual, you could basically get a new game without a manual for free. He would trade you that. So yeah, we spent many an hour in there mainly getting video games. That was the old library right there, which is now, I think, a city building.
It's a police station.
Oh, the police station, that's right.
And there's the Upper Whitmore Park right there.
I remember going down to the Shaw Library and watch puppet shows, and we would get books there.
During story time, which my mom still vividly remembers me screaming my head off as a kid.
Oh, yeah?
Even though she was like just right down a couple seats, I was screaming my head off because of separation, I guess. St. Francis School, which is another private school. Dominoes.
It was funny. We played them in basketball once.
Yeah.
It was like high schoolers versus middle schoolers. It wasn't even fair.
This is the West Branch of the Susquehanna.
Yeah.
As we go down.
Yeah, we're going to head up to where the dairy is, where the skate station is, where we roller skate.
Then my first job really was.
Yeah, that's the main reason. Would be
Old
where
Town
his
Road
Exxon was.
Oh, this right here on the left, this was who owned WCPA. This is the owner of the Clearfield Broadcasters Incorporated. He owned the Progress, the WCPA.
Yeah, this is kind of like the rich end of town.
Yeah, this is the rich end of town.
At least the bigger houses.
Right, which is hilarious because right off the end of it is McDonald's.
Right.
Which has actually been completely gutted and rebuilt.
Yeah, this is just within the last year or so. That was our hometown McDonald's. That was a Mr. Donut. Remember
Dunkin'
that?
Donut, then it was Mr. Donut, and then it was something else before it turned into a tanning salon right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this on the left, now it's for sale, I guess. This is where I started my job, and this little pad obviously was where the tanks were.
Right.
I don't know if you can see much into it, but I don't know if you really can see, but you see the Clearfield Bison's license plate there. Open sign, there was a glass little, no, there wasn't even glass, it was just a post. And that side was the cashier box. So you had the cash register, little restroom up and around for us, and then over here was the convenience store side.
Somebody's a Trump fan.
Yep. The Pepsi and Coke coolers were on the back wall.
Yeah, I remember that.
Inch out, this little hut right here was where the car wash bay.
Right, you took their money,
Yeah, took their money and did stuff.
Entered the code.
There was a kerosene pump that used to sit right here. Now it's a handicap spot. This was the automatic bay right here. We park our vans here. Cars. I had
They took out all the
vacuum pumps.
Yeah.
I had a 1964 Dodge bread truck, my van. We've talked about on the first cars.
Yes.
I parked my van there, and Buddy had his van, and it's a Chevy like van. And then I parked my big old, panel truck right next to it. And he goes, local place called Parker Dam. So he does the knock knock joke with me one day. Knock knock, who's there? Parker. Parker who? Parker Dam van somewhere else. So So when we were talking about how we get gas, like when I got gas, so I think if I did it this way, right, pull up, get the gas.
Yeah.
Well, then I would kick it in back, reverse right here, and do a reverse 180, and I will simulate. I will not duplicate.
You got a camera now to assist you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would
I'd
like
whip out, and we'd be pointing at the bank here.
Yeah, literally like a reverse fishtail 180.
So then if I
and I'd be hanging onto the side of the door. Ah!
So then if I parked like this, get my gas, right? We'd be right here. Well, then I would back up even further, give him a false sense of security because he's thinking I'm going to whip it. I'm going real slow. Let me use my camera here.
Yeah, you're cheating now.
I'm cheating a lot. So right here, Jason, see these two islands or cement pads? That used to be a vacuum island that was about 3 foot high. And these are the vacuum or the manual bays over here on the right. I'd squeeze my Turismo back through all this, and come out there where this truck is. And Jason was sitting there, you're gonna bust the mirrors
You're gonna
out.
take the mirror off your car.
Go this way. We're gonna go over to the, well, I guess Old Town Road Dairy is right here. Oh, another
Swing
thing.
back around by the skate station too.
That's what I'm doing.
Because that's for sale, actually.
So, just for fun, over here, right? My stepsister came in over there to get gas. It was cheaper over there when there was a gas station. I'm over here working one day, and she, I see her, I hit the PA speaker on the thing, and go, "Hey, Autumn!" She's like, "What the?" But then she realized who it was because I was working there. I waved.
Yeah, so the Old Town Road Dairy, we got many a treat here. Still serving up the treats. They added on this second section later. This was after we had left, wasn't it?
I think so. But I was looking at pictures of how it was built. I was in this last time, made you jealous. And I think it was this first set of doors. I'm not sure, but I think this first set of doors, if Jason can pan back through, that first door there, I think is where it ended. You can see a seam there.
Yeah. And then he added on this whole eating area over here, and there's a fun mural on the wall that looks like an old car you're driving.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of Jackson when we'd come here, and I don't know if you can really tell from here. But
Let's see if that fixed it.
takes a glare. But yeah, it's a pretty cool place now.
And I'm going to make you jealous. That's where we're having lunch.
Oh, fun.
You're going up with your mom, and I'm going out here. So
And they
now
got a whole little back patio area too.
Yeah.
And then over there was across the river was where I got baptized, actually, in that river.
Yeah, we'll swing by. It's not far. So now, they still have the Video Stars. This place, this first where it's Brothers Pizza, used to be a Video Stars, another video rental place.
Oh my gosh. 5 movies, 5 days, $3.99. Not bad.
Probably cost too much to take the sign down. Jeez. Hey, this feels like I'm going back on my back roads to my house.
Yeah.
Up in Eden. We're close to Beefs. So this big red building.
The sign anymore. It used to be spelled out right there.
Yes, it
Skate
did.
station.
Supposedly it's still open. I see ads, but they are selling this. It is up for sale now. And that was the entrance right there.
Yeah.
Double doors, which didn't make sense because there's no light, no windows, no nothing. And then, inside you pass by the DJ booth, little seating area. You step up, if I remember right, step up into the restaurant area where you also got your skate rentals.
Yeah, you had the back before you got up into the restaurant they had a foosball table there. I think maybe even a pool table at one point too.
Maybe.
But yeah, I remember having many a birthday party at the skate station. Down in this far area was kind of where the food, the cafeteria, like restaurant seating. Jeez. And they had video games in the back. And I remember they had Tron, they had Galaga, and they had a pole position. And let me tell you, it was fun trying to play pole position in roller skates.
I'm sure it was.
Because you're trying, you got the little stopper at the front. So as long as you had that on there and you're not trying to use the wheels, it helped. But it was still, every once in a while, you'd slip or something. And it was not fun playing pole position in roller skates, trying to keep the gas pedal down. But yeah, that was, there's a sign right there.
Yep. But it is up for sale, sadly now. After all these years, it finally caved. But looking at it, because I just saw what it looks like on the backside, That might be why it's for sale. It's needing a lot of repair, and it's not worth.
It's not a.
I don't know if they're a booming business anymore or not.
No, I doubt it. I really doubt it. The building didn't look like it was in too great a shape. And there's Sid's Sub Shop. One of my favorite places to eat.
Yeah.
Very unique building there, the dome. And you could go up to the top. We mainly stayed at the bottom, but that was where they had a couple. It was back when about every restaurant had a couple video games.
Yeah, table. I think that one had a tabletop.
That one had a tabletop Pac-Man.
Pizza Hut had a tabletop for a little bit. I think they got away with it.
Had a not Heavy Barrel. Crap. The guys with the hoods. It'll come to me in a minute. That was where I first played that game.
We're taking a slight skew. We're going to go over to the church that we truly first met, but we don't remember.
When we were youngins.
Yeah, like
Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder was the name of the game.
Oh, okay.
Came to me.
Well, everybody's going to the Hyde Wesleyan. That's what this is.
Yeah. That's where Pastor Bob is. Remember Pastor Bob?
Bob.
He was our Bible teacher in school. You can kind of see over to the dairy there, and they have the little
backside,
back patio now. Man, that river looks muddy.
It always looked muddy to me.
Yep, there's the little church.
Yep. It used to be called Calvary Independent something. That's called Riverview, I see now.
Yeah, that was our first church. And see, like right here, there was a way to get down to the river right here. And I got baptized in that thing. Man, it's running pretty good, man. It's pretty high.
I think it'd be a very swift, cool baptism.
I don't remember it. Let's put it that way. I mean, as far as the temperature goes, but I can't remember how old I was.
What's
7 or 8.
Jason says I have a pretty good memory. I remember this back half had the classrooms, and there was like a little kitchen area. I'll call it the fellowship hall. The front half there was you had to step up, and that was the chapel or the sanctuary area of the church.
I remember nothing about that church. Yeah, well, that was where we.
That was also the parsonage for it, right there.
Mm-hmm. That was essentially where we first met. All right, so we're coming up into Hyde, and right after my parents split, my mom's first place was a little house trailer. I think it was
right?
One of those two right there. It might have been that one there.
Another little space. That's why I remember.
Yeah. So she lived over here in Hyde for a while, and even my dad lived over here, right back there behind Martel Glass, for a while, till he moved. This is actually where my parents first lived after they were married. It was over here in Hyde in a house trailer. Yeah, it was. His was lined up in this road right here on the very end, and they lived back in here somewhere in a house trailer, and they moved. They bought the land in Curwensville where we're gonna head to, and moved the trailer there, and then eventually built the house behind it and sold the trailer. And that's how my story goes. So we're gonna head up that way.
Yeah, my homes are all scattered. It'd take a lot of driving just to get to them.
Yeah, so that's gonna have to be
another day time.
Part 2 of Memory Jogger, the movie.
Yeah. My mom moved up from Dory Street there, the house that we showed at first, They moved up from there to a place right behind, I'll say pseudo close to Beefs. And then my dad moved up to, we'll call it Glen Ritchie. So it's like I said, a little bit of a drive. And then my mom was, since I think my last year of high school, we moved up to the field that used to be part of my grandmother's property. And that's up in, now it's past a place called Grampian. So, yeah. Curwensville, here we come.
Yeah, there's where the cow horn sounds here at the fire hall. Every Sunday night at 6
o'clock.
Yeah. You'd hear the fire whistle, and then you hear that, yeah. Crazy.
And I could
crazy
hear
cow.
that sucker.
That freaked out my boys when we first came out here, and they heard it. They're like, what is that sound?
Oh, the township building should be right here, right? For you?
No, the township building was actually back behind Sid's there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, so we're on the 9 mile drive to Curwensville from Clearfield. It's not much, but
it's like more like 3, but whatever.
oh, it's fun. Like this field over here, the guy had cattle, and when they get too hot in the summer, they would come down here to the river.
Oh yeah, see
And,
them wading in the river.
They would be wading in the river, yeah. And that was always fun to see.
Just a way to make it a little bit more brown.
Yeah, right. And then up here on the left is where I bought my first car. Hey, there's a blue cow sign. It was right here. It's now Tibbins Auto Sales. I don't know what it used to be called. Anderson Equipment is still there.
And Wrigglesworth Interiors.
And Wrigglesworth Interiors is still there. Wow. Yeah, we traveled this road many a time. This was my bus route when I lived in Curwensville. We would actually ride the Votech bus where we were earlier. We'll come back on that one.
Yeah.
We just thought of another place to stop, the Hogback Bridge. But yeah, I took this route every day. Us elementary school kids would ride with the Votech kids from Curwensville down to Clearfield. They would drop us off. And that's where I got all those wonderful stories of the things
life.
high school, life, the things the high schoolers did to us.
If Jason goes
On
dead
the
center,
bus.
there's this big, huge railroad truss up above here. I have a picture that my mom has given to me of an old steam engine coming across that.
Oh,
Someone
yeah?
has a picture of it.
Yeah, that's what they call an Arnoldtown up here. And I thought they were making all of these people
Leave, but they
leave.
haven't. There's a few houses that have been kicked down.
Yeah, that's where my Little League coach lived. One of those houses booted him out.
Over here is the Golden Tide.
Yep, there's the stadium for the high school. And
Last night I caught Bob Day broadcasting his football expertise. He wasn't here. He was actually at the other location.
that's where I started playing baseball over there. I played mini league on the one field, which I think is a softball field now.
Jason points right up here where this little marker is for Curwensville, PA, was where that big video store used to be that you were talking about.
Oh my gosh, that has changed. That whole little section right there was a building. They knocked it down now.
Huge.
It was yeah, they had apartments up above, but that's where we rented our VCR and our movies.
Yeah. Then it became a cigarette place.
Yeah, it did. It was like a cigarette outlet. All right, we made it to Curwensville, the wonderful one stoplight town.
Yeah, on the right, you'll see is where Curwensville Exxon used to be.
Yep, that's where you worked.
Well, I worked here for a little bit. It was just about a 3 or 4 month little gig. That's all there was to it. Didn't really.
God. Well, it doesn't say IGA anymore, but
No.
That's a little grocery store. The food liner used to be Goodman's IGA food liner.
Back in the day, I don't know if you remember this. There used to be an old hotel that's now where Snappy's is.
Yeah, they tore that building down. I remember that when that happened. Over there was a restaurant.
It's still there. It's called the Hidden Kitchen now.
Yeah. That first building on the left down this street, that yellow building, was where I got my hair cut. Rick, what was his name? Can't remember. But now we're in the middle of town. That's a Unimart. It still says Unimart up there.
Yeah. They closed and
Didn't know
they closed and reopened.
Really? Didn't know that a Unimart existed.
That's the upper Unimart. There was a lower one that they've changed. It's another company.
Yeah,
now.
that Dollar General was not there, and there was all these little storefronts.
This was all put on fire. There was a big fire that was raging through. My stepsister lived in this last building, the brown building here.
Uh-huh.
And I called her and said, "You guys got a fire's coming up." Oh,
Yeah,
right here.
this was the Tasty Freeze.
It's now
Family medicine. That was the Tasty Freeze.
Yeah, I called my stepsister up and said, "Hey, there's a fire in your building." What? It's all over the news. What? And call her up and, oh yeah, I see all the fire trucks.
The dentist was here on one of these. This is the
White
white.
House.
It's the white one. Yep.
Still a dentist.
Holy cow. Yep.
This place up here has been for sale 3 or 4 times now. It used
I
to be
always thought it was like
a
a haunted mansion.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. But we're headed up Ridge Avenue now to where I grew up. We'll come back down and I'll tell you about the my bike route that I would go down to Buzzard's candy store and get candy. But that's not steep, but it seemed a lot steeper
when you're pedaling
in
up,
my
I'm sure.
in my memories. It does, at least. But when you're pedaling all the way up this hill on your bike, oh my gosh, we just went downtown. We'd fill up with candy and head up. No, keep going.
Okay, I don't recall.
That's McNall Street. That's the next one. I grew up on Lippert Street. So yeah, I didn't know too many people down in these houses did. My parents did. Well, there's a barn there. They tore that down on the left. This was our bus stop where those cars were. And then we'd head up Lippert Street here. This was my street. Oh my gosh, I remember when this was freshly paved. It's deteriorated from then, but all the kids came out and we were riding our bikes and skateboards and everything. Oh, they've renovated the house, so it's this brownish color house. That's my childhood home right there. We got a little
Shed out back too.
Look at the size of those trees.
Yeah.
Holy crap. My dad might have planted some of those trees in that backyard. They're just huge. I don't remember those big, huge trees being back there. It was all fruit trees. And this is the front yard here, so this is where they would have the trailer parked. This is where my snowman story happened. There was 2 shrub kind of trees on either side. And my dad built that garage first, and then the house was
We'll
built
come back
after.
around. There's a car behind us.
Okay. That was the Vandewaters. I played with their son. There's the lodge, which used to be a the Jehovah's Witness church. And my buddy Tim lived at the top. Well, there's another house up there. Holy crap. A lot has changed. So yeah, this was the Jehovah's Witness church. We would climb on top of that roof.
Jeez, you got...
Go down here a little bit farther. So there was a carport here. I don't know if it should be still here. Maybe they ripped it down. They did rip it down. Nope, there it is.
That's how you climbed up.
So it's low enough that they had there's a garbage can to catch the rainwater right off the side of that. And we would flip the garbage can over and climb up on top of the carport, and then the roof comes right down to it. So you can climb right up on the house there. There was a lot more trees back here, but we had a couple boards to sit on. We nailed in a tree somewhere right here. I wonder if it's still up there. That would be amazing. But there was all kinds of shrubs right here, and it was enough to where you could climb inside the shrubs and we made it like a little table. We had one of those big spools. Me and Scott Jones lived in this house, and we would that was kind of like our hideout.
Nice.
And there was a huge pine tree in front of that house. I don't
Need me to move?
know if it's there. You go ahead and spin back around. I'm kind of looking up in
Yeah.
just for the fun of it to see if there was a
board somewhere.
board, like flat board where you could sit. Anyway, I would go sled riding down this hill. This house was not there when I was younger. That's actually the daughter. That's she became a teacher at our school for a while, right when we were in seniors. She taught the younger grades.
Miss Fleming?
Yes. Her maiden name was Sutherland, who lives over there. But we would go sled riding down this hill. It was grown up like this, so we'd have to like sled down a couple times to get the weeds to come down. But yeah, so this house over here, she was the one that babysit me that one summer, and where I watched that, I would watch Pressure Luck in the basement. And that was my buddy Tim's house, the one with the star right there. That one up above it was not there when I was a kid. But right up through here, maybe you can just turn around at the, kind of go up their driveway and then back down, turn around and spin around right there. But over this way, past this old dilapidated garage,
Yeah.
there was a spot in the woods. I think it's still there.
The little void there.
Yep. Right back in there was a four-wheeler path, and we would take our bikes, ride back over there to McNall Street, and ride back to that cemetery. But yeah, that's I spent many a time with Tim in that house. They built a garage up there behind it too, didn't they?
Looks like it. Or carport.
Maybe that was, no, it was that house. I can't remember because of the fence, and there was a fence that ran along here. Yeah, it was that house, because it was a smaller house. It wasn't too huge.
There's a car coming. That's why we're backing out
let
of the
him
way.
go by. There was another house beyond the red one. They tore that down, and right across the street from where I grew up was three girls. I played with them. They were a little bit older than me, but they were some of the ones that we would play when we were we would do like jailbreak at night, and I think they tore down that huge pine tree. It's about where those logs were. We would climb that tree, and it was humongous. We'd come down just covered in sap, but we had a little spot where right there is Matt's clubhouse. Go down just a little bit, back behind this yellow house. I wonder if it's still the Vanderwaters. We'd corn that house all the time. Right back behind there was that little brown shed, and he built his little clubhouse up above in there, and we would we'd play up in there. He had a sandbox that a cat would always crap in. This was Mrs. Wrigley's house right here. Man, this thing looks worse for wear. Yeah, that looks so much different. It was one of those Patwell houses where that was split. They came in on two trucks. They put it together essentially, and basement around the bottom. Gosh, it looks so much different. And out back, I bet you a few of those shrubs are some that Dad planted.
I'm sure.
I don't see many. I see a couple maybe fruit trees back there, but it was just an orchard. And I don't remember those great big huge trees back there. I'd been climbing those. It seemed like the backyard was a lot farther, because I would hit golf balls from our back patio area back through all the shrubs and everything to the very back end of our lot. Wow. Okay. Well, there it is. If it's ever up for sale, I might want to buy it. My room was that very end one right there with the second double window right there. As I point my finger.
Yeah.
Right in the corner of the house. That was my room. And that breezeway where they've got the 2 double doors to go in.
That was all open.
In between, yeah, that was all open. There was a swing in there. The back, Dad had like plastic up, but yeah. And over here, there's a trailer there.
Yeah.
That was probably not the one that was there, but there was a family there, the Rollses, that I played with. It was a brother and sister.
Looks like it could have been the original trailer.
And maybe it is. I don't know. I don't remember their yard being that big, but yeah, there was a boy in this house. Skips my mind. That I played with some. He was younger than us. Me and Tim, that is. This freaking house right here, okay? This was the one that gave me that little hug that screwed up my whole bag of candy. Up yours, Autumn Greetings. Yeah.
He's using his 90s lingo right there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and that was back up that way. Go. You can go ahead down.
if he goes to the right, we would come down that way. We would go spotting up well past that, up in Greenwood. And we would come down this street every, Friday or Saturday night?
Yeah. Down past my old house.
When it was spotting season. We call it spotting season, just before hunting season. And Jason would ride his bike, like you said, biking the buzzards. That's the name of his memoir.
We would coast. You could start from my house and coast all the way down into town. Would not have to pedal.
So you had to do the U-turn.
Yeah, we typically took the sidewalk up here. I don't remember the, maybe there was the fence.
I was going to say, kind of gutsy
though.
without the fence.
Yeah, but it was, we just rode it all the way down. Didn't have to deal with this crazy
hairpin turn that you hope you can find someone.
You're good. This way. Hadarigo in the antique shop right there. Yep.
He's an auctioneer and antique dude.
That thing has not changed.
No.
I don't think I've ever been in there.
Nor have I. You have to tell me where Buzzards is, because I don't remember.
Might still be a laundromat.
That was a laundromat. No, it's a faith church something or other. Fellowship Hall.
And Buzzards was down here past the church. It was about where the Dollar General is. So you had all these like storefronts here, and that was a Ford dealer.
That was a Ford dealer back in the day.
Still.
And there's the branding iron right here.
But yeah, branding iron, and then all these little storefronts right here. There was more right in front of the Dollar General.
You have to tell me where to go. You said Buzzards? It was right here?
Yeah, Buzzards was here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Oak Hill Cemetery. Let's head up that way for a quickie.
Okay. Well, that's a cemetery from your Halloween?
Yeah. So, well, the cemetery, that bike trail that I said, we would ride that. There was a nursing home at the end of McNall Street, the street over. We would ride behind that. The trail would continue, and then it would go in back through the woods, and you would come out right at the cemetery. And this is where we had our Cemetery 500, I'll call it. We would, it was like freshly paved. This was before our street got paved.
Right.
So we would come over here and ride our bikes at the cemetery and, piss people off paying their respects.
Yeah.
Get out of here, kids. This isn't a racetrack. That sort of thing. You can hang it right. It comes back around.
Yeah, it said to go right.
And my parents never knew we'd come over here. Like I would tell them I'd go to Tim's house, and back then you would just say, hey, we're gonna go ride bikes, and your parents were cool about it. But we would go back that trail and come out over here and just ride all up and down. I can't remember where it came out. It must have been down. It was down this way, I think. I think they might have filled this in some, though, because there was more of a... Maybe it was down that way. That's the way out. Yes. I'm trying to see where we came out. There's something down that way, but I don't remember. It was like straight out from the woods.
We'll find out today. It's like a mud boggy.
Well, don't get stuck down in here. You're already getting soft stuff. I don't think it was down in here. But, please don't get stuck. I don't want to have to explain this to my dad.
Or mine. Dad, we need to dig the diesel out.
We got stuck filming a cemetery that I used to visit as a kid. Anyway, it might have been up towards the top over on this side.
And there's a little tiny dirt trail over there. So.
Anyway, we would come down here and just race all up around and down past basically the loop, and then down in here. I was thinking there was maybe another, at some point there was more roads, but they might have expanded the cemetery to add more plots since then, since a lot more people have died in the past 30 years, 35 years. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is just a little fun little detour, and we'll head back over. Yeah, we can come down this way.
I'm trying to think that's your path.
No, it would have had to been. I think it had been back behind us there. So that was a fun little thing, and sometimes I think we even would maybe go to Buzzards this way and down the street here down into town. Yeah, so we're get a nice little overlook of Curwensville from up here.
More trees than Curwensville, I think.
Not really a scenic overlook there. Through the pillars. And then you want to go over by the Blue Cow baseball field?
We got time, I think.
We'll head back. China King.
That's where Mabel's moved up for a while. And then I remember Bob doing a remote there.
Oh yeah.
And then I don't know when, but relatively soon after, like a few years, it closed up again.
True Value finally. No, it's still there.
It's still there.
Holy crap. True Value Hardware.
I remember when we were doing the bicentennial, I wanted photos. I got to go up on that roof.
Yeah, I took a picture of one of these storefronts for my book to kind of recreate Buzzard since it's not there.
Yeah. Then Gates Hardware is also still in town. He's up here.
Uh-huh.
He's been there.
I can't believe that Unimart is there. There was a Unimart there, and then there was a Unimart down this way. I was like, I don't understand why there's two Unimarts within
the upper and the lower. We knew that.
2 blocks of each other.
Oh, Fox's.
Fox's Pizza Den. There's where I got my haircut, in that building.
Yep.
And then you have the Central. And then Fox's was right here.
Yep.
And up above that was where we had our batting cages. And we would go there since my Little League coach was...
And that's the lower Unimart, which is now Fuel On.
Goodness.
Oh, well, they're here. This used to be the 25-cent car wash place. You actually wash your car for a quarter, which is now fairly...
Don't got a roof on those anymore. Probably fell down. Oh, and Southside Subs.
Southside Subs.
This is the Southside Subs is where I honed my spy hunter skills. There's a little sub shop, and they had candy and
Convenience store.
Yeah, like a little convenience store.
You might find your pixie sticks in there.
Oh my gosh, the sign is still there. I see it from here.
Kind of pricey. My wife and I, the first time I've ever walked in that place, my wife and I came there. We had to grab something real quick, like diapers or something.
There it is.
Yeah.
Southside Subs.
I realize it's a convenience store.
It's still kind of the same setup in there, it looks like.
Probably.
Oh my gosh. They had a spy hunter, and I can't remember what else they had in there, but that's what I mainly went there for, was the candy and the playing the games.
Southside Garage.
Yep.
It used to be a Chrysler Dodge dealer way back.
This is where you turn for the high school.
High school and library.
Right. So we would ride the bus over to the high school and then pick the...
Oh, there's the turn for the high school.
Oh, yeah. That was where you came out from the high school on the bus. So Curwensville High School is down here.
Curwensville Alliance, that was basically my home church. That's what I call it now. For years, still is. My dad's still there. I'm sure he'll say hi to me now. If he sees me.
There's my baseball field. And the Blue Cow. That's where we would always go after the game and get treats. At one point they had some video games in there. I remember they had the karate, I think it was Karate Champ. They had 10-yard fight. I think they had a Pac-Man too. And then this is Irwin Park.
Yes.
Can't remember the name. I'm trying to remember the name of the park, but this is where they always had Curwensville Days, which was a little carnival set up for a week. I guess about a week.
And well, maybe it's expand. I thought it was only on like a little 3-day thing.
And maybe it was over a long weekend or something, but they would set up rides here, and I think that platform was they did bingo.
Maybe, but that's relatively new. I don't remember there being a stage up until the latter days.
They had a building or like maybe it was that place next to it with the roof that they did bingo in. And then they'd have it was mainly just kiddie rides.
Yeah.
And games.
Many, I won't say too many, but many a summer, my uncle would try to teach me how to do fishing. Down over there's a little tiny, I'll call it a dam break. I don't know what you really call it, just a quick little spill off. But they had a big sidewalk when the water was low, the river was low, big huge sidewalk with a little step up that people would use basically as seats or a step or to put their tackle. Pretty cool. Just down over there.
I went to preschool actually across the street.
The church?
Yeah. That's where I went to preschool. I don't remember anything about it, but my dad always told me that's where you went to preschool. So, and I did go to kindergarten here at in Curwensville because our school hadn't been built yet.
Yeah.
And then I started in first grade there. So here's my little league field, and I'm going to pass the phone to you. I remember sitting in the dugout mainly.
Did you carve your name anywhere?
No, I don't think so. But I do remember there being like a structure here, and tons of Bazooka Joe gum, and the what was the shredded?
Major League Chew.
Major League,
Big League Chew.
Big League Chew.
You were a big.
We would have huge wads of gum.
I remember.
And so yeah, this was mainly the dugout. I remember it would vary based on who we were playing and who was the home team. But we did have an all-star game here that I hit a home run in. I hit 2 home runs in my career. This little short kid. And, soft.
Well, it's sand.
One was against Bloom Electric. I hit a grand slam home run over center field. I still have the ball. And then we hosted an all-star game here. My last year in Little League, I played on the all-star team. I still have the picture. But I hit the ball. The all-star pitcher from the other team was throwing fast, like faster than I was used to. And it just basically bounced off my bat and went out to right field. But I also remember, this is also the place where I was pitching one time, okay? I send one in. Dude hits a pop fly over here. Now see where that mud puddle is?
Yeah.
That mud puddle's probably been there for 25 years. That's about the spot where the pop fly came over, and I came over from the mound to catch it. And I got to I'm looking at the ball, I'm not paying attention to the mud puddle. And I played the rest of my game. We wore yellow uniforms and white pants. And like I had like a leg that was brown. So that's another memory that sticks out about this field. But, and I remember too during the All-Star game, never forget this, because I'm basically sprinting towards first because I had no idea it was going to be a home run. And when I got to first base, then everybody erupted and I realized it was a home run. And I came back around, I was so excited, and the dude was ready to high-five me, and I go like this, didn't touch the base. He's like, dude, touch the base, touch the base. Oh. Make sure you touch the base. So I'm gonna run the bases just for old time's sake. I'm leaving my imprint on the plate. I wanted to do this for years. I played shortstop, so this is where I played when I wasn't pitching. Hit the inside of the bag.
Out!
Oh, that was a thrill.
Good stuff. They used to have a little concession up there, I remember.
Yeah, so after the game, I think it was for everyone. I was thinking it was maybe when you won, but after the game you got a free cup. It was a small cup, free soda. And we'd always get suicide.
Oh, yes. We've never talked about that.
You tell our suicide, it's, Sunkist, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, root beer, Dr. Pepper,
Mountain Dew, yeah.
all in one cup. I don't know how we ever drank that stuff.
I remember having that at the skate station once. I tried it.
Suicide. I don't know why you called it suicide. I guess it tastes so bad you thought you were going to die. Yep. This is it.
Good memories.
Some glory days spent here in this very dugout. And me and my buddy Tim, they kind of did it to where if you live nearby, they try to put you on the same team. So me and Tim were on the same baseball team.
That's cool.
So we bonded even more there.
Someone's jacket's still here.
Oh man, how was that? I remember my parents were here. I think my grandma and my uncle were here for that All-Star game too, so they got to see me.
Yeah, I came for one game.
You did. I remember being up at your house. That was when we were throwing rocks and stuff behind
My granddad's.
all that trash.
Yeah.
I remember being in my baseball uniform. All right, we were gonna head up to Glen Ritchie, but I wanted to get a picture of the blue cow. But I remember, I think right there is a little horse, like seahorse,
Yeah.
on the coil, the big coil spring. I swear to God, that's been there since I was a kid. So we're headed up to the infamous Curwensville Dam, Curwensville Lake, whatever you want to call it. And this was a spot where I remember coming in the summertime, and it was like a little mini beach area.
By that building out there.
Yep, there's the wash house, is what they call it, I guess. But yeah, there's a beachfront way over there. And that's where we would go in the summertime to swim.
There's a campground there. Picnic tables, so you could do a family reunion, which I'm familiar with. We do some reunions down there.
Uh-huh.
That beach house gets flooded every now and then, so you'll see how high the water table is. It's completely engulfed.
Yeah. So we're going to head up to the Glen Ritchie area and maybe zip by. You going to zip by your dad's house, or you're just going to hit the puddle and the hogback?
I think we're going to hit. Yeah, we'll just hit the puddle and hogback. I was going to go by dad's, but we don't own the property anymore where you were throwing rocks.
Oh,
so
okay.
Can't exactly retry our throwing skills.
Gotcha. I imagine the trash is probably still there.
Yes. Just very well covered by leaves and brush. Let's see, I hate this part.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
such a blind curve, you don't know if anybody's coming.
There's a lot of those around here. There's an Amish sign. We do have some Amish.
Yes, not too often, but you'd see the rare sighting, especially if you get closer to Luthersburg area.
Yeah.
You'd see the Luthersburg, Punxsutawney. There's a big
Yeah, we'd always
family
go past there. Going to Punxsy.
Another little cemetery. This is where my grandparents on my dad's side are buried.
Mm-hmm.
Not much in between, but
No.
what you can glean from this is, one, Clearfield County is very, very vast in both fields and forest. Great hunting places for us. So, like I said before in one of the podcasts, that we have a call it the local millionaire who ends up buying up more and more property for the sole purpose of hunting, to preserve it for the hunters. There was a period where people out of state were buying up the properties, but then they wouldn't allow anybody to hunt. Well, he would swoop back in and try to
Buy it back up.
so it's there. He still has to legally post, no trespassing, and basically the disclaimer. But in the end, it's so that we can go hunt and have a place to hunt. And we apologize for those that we might offend by hunting.
I haven't been in forever, but it was part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
It was a part of the culture enough that we had the first day of hunting season off from school.
It was a state holiday, it seemed.
Yeah. It was the Monday after Thanksgiving. So, yeah, lots of farmland up here. Yeah, lots of good hunting if that's your thing. And once I moved away, I got out of all that. Yeah.
I would
Never came back to
try.
hunt.
It usually wasn't every year, but I would try every other year to come back. And then it just got so scarce with now having kids.
Yeah.
I don't think I've come back since I was in New Jersey. And that's ballpark of 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm. All these old dilapidated barns.
Yeah.
Some
of
of
them are just now finally caving in,
Right.
They were dilapidated when we were growing up.
Well, true. And I remember some of them having painted signage on there, for tobacco or
Marlboro
cigarettes
or
or
chewing tobacco. Yeah.
back before there was billboards. they would paint them on barns. I'm sure farmer got a
up here on the
little
left,
cut.
a little bonus footage. This big building on the left, past this little mobile home. This guy had his own sawmill, local sawmill that you could go and buy your lumber from, and that's how my dad built majority of his house. He'd go up there and get true cut, rough cut 2x4. So it's not the plain down 2x3s or 1.5 by 3s you find at the wherever, the local big box store.
Interesting.
Still has the rough wood in my dad's garage.
Mm-hmm.
Now the killer curve.
Wow.
I thought it.
That
This is the one up here. This one I don't know how people haven't knocked out these houses up here. But I mean, look at this. And coming down Winter Road. That's why I mean Winter Road.
Oh yeah.
You have to make this hairpin
Guardrail
turn.
in front of your house. I think I'd want a
Move.
double guardrail with a fence, or maybe just a big long rubber band.
So my dad, ballpark, lives up this road. Over there is the Glen Ritchie Firehouse, which also they have a little, the Glen Ritchie Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
It was gone for a few years, just disappeared.
Oh yeah.
Then all of a sudden they came back. Now we're on the Clearfield Glen Ritchie Highway, going to find, which the puddle is not there today, but we will point out where the puddle should be. We still have cows periodically.
Can't see too much for the trees, but my dad dumped his truck on this road, that black and silver one.
Yes, I remember you telling me the tale.
And that was a deer. Speaking of hunting, that's the only downside to hunting.
Back here, back in this area, I'm going to do some screenshots. We need to do an after show podcast. But back in this area is where I hunted.
Mm-hmm.
But and the hunting area was so close that we could go down, hunt for a few hours. Then when it's about lunchtime, we could just literally walk up the road and
Get a bite.
get some hot beverage. Usually for me it was tea. My dad was coffee at the time. This is for you, Autumn, if you're watching. We still call this Autumn's Curve because she hit black ice right here in her old Dodge 024 Omni and smacked this guardrail, took the rear bumper off the car.
Oh no.
So we call it Autumn's Curve.
Autumn's curve.
So my wife and I were coming up this road, coming up home. Saw a big black bear across the road right here, just running.
Nice.
I knew black bear were here, but all the years growing up, I'd never
Right,
seen them.
it's very few and far between when you see that.
Sorry, they added rumble strips, I'll call it, on either side, I guess to
Keep people like,
keep people awake, yeah. We'll go down this, I guess. After. Because we gotta go find a puddle in front of Tim's old house. So I'm going to slow down, but about right now is when I would be gunning it right now. Any other day.
you come down this hill and it's on the right,
Yeah.
just past the guardrail. Right?
Yep, just right back here, this house. There was, in between, this little grass patch right there was where the puddle would sit. And you could bank that it was there. And we would, I would gun it as fast as I could with the Turismo, my dad's Horizon, on occasion the truck,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get it to splash as much over the truck or the windshield as possible. That was the gag. That was, could we encase the windshield with water?
Okay, well, I think that's going about rapid for at least part one of
Memory Jogger the movie?
Memory Jogger. We hit I thought we hit more places than I thought we were going to hit on this tour of Clearfield and Curwensville and all points in between. But
Right.
we hope you enjoyed watching it, and I know we will treasure that. That was fun running the bases. Thanks for that.
Anytime, yeah. Like I said, it probably is more for us than it is for you, the viewer,
Right.
because this is what we grew up with. But maybe this has picked up some memories that you've had, dealing when we grew up, childhood memories, favorite places, restaurants, whatever.
Yeah. Maybe it'll encourage you to go back to your hometown too if you haven't been there in a while and try to retrace some of your childhood steps, I'll say.
Yeah.
So,
At least for me, as I peer onto the little towers of UCPA WQX, this has been awesome. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for flying up just to go to RetroCon, Jason.
yeah.
And then do our
time.
part one of, I don't know how many we'll do, of Memory Jogger the movie.
All right, friends. We'll see you later.
So yeah, thank you.
This has been a production of the Rediscover the 80s podcast. Visit rediscoverthe80s.com to find our show notes for this episode and others. Join us again next time for the Memory Jogger podcast.